It is a Christmas miracle. People messaged me to let me know I actually missed a rather interesting Sarah Boone document from last week. And I do apologize for missing it. My guess for how I missed it is because if you look at the time here, it's 12/18/2024 at 4:58 p.m. This is actually interesting in itself, but that is when it was filed. This document was about 2 hours prior. Now, whenever this document hit the docket, I opened it in another browser tab, and I eventually did a video on it, and I covered how Sarah Boone got a new lawyer because her previous lawyer doesn't cover appeals. And this lawyer is now listed as her lawyer on the docket, and it wasn't her fault, but she is on a second appeals lawyer, and that's rather funny with Sarah Boone's history. But what's interesting is this document was filed after that document giving her the new lawyer, but this document is from James Owens. Now, I don't know why that is because she has a new lawyer. Maybe he was already working on it because there were issues with the previous appeals lawyer. Maybe he was being hounded by Sarah and that's why he did it. Or maybe submitting this as the original lawyer is normal in Florida. I'm not entirely sure, but let's take a look at what this is. This is the Statement of Judicial Acts to be reviewed and motion for court reporter to transcribe designated proceedings. So, this is supposed to be the specific moments that Sarah Boone, and I assume James Owens, believe are her best shot on appeal. And they are asking for it to be reviewed and for a court reporter to transcribe the proceedings. Now, with it being Christmas, there isn't an agreement to have this done. I can see on the docket, but I don't see why it would be not something that happens. Comes now, defendant, applicant, by and through, undersigned counsel hereby issues the following statement of judicial acts to be reviewed. Court's denial of defendant's motion for continuance on September 3rd, 2024. Court's denial of defendant's second amended motion to suppress defendant's statements at OCSO on October 2nd, 2024. Court's denial of defendant's motion for new trial on December 2nd, 2024. Court's denial of defendant's motion for downward departure on December 2nd, 2024. Judgment and sentence of the court on December 2nd, 2024. So, I'm trying to remember when these were. The continuance was probably one of the, I think there were a couple continuances that James Owens tried for multiple continuances once he got involved, and they got denied because Sarah agreed to not have continuances when she was pro se and was told there wouldn't be more. It was a whole thing. So that would probably be one of the issues for the first one. The second, I believe, unless I'm wrong, this second amended motion to suppress was when she was trying to suppress her entire interview at the station, right? I believe I actually did a video fully reviewing that where she really dug herself a hole, and they did end up cutting a small portion of it out, which was, in my opinion, unneeded, but they did do it, and they're using that. Of course, she wanted a new trial. They want that to be reviewed. That would be on December 2nd. They also want the motion for downward departure on December 2nd. That got denied. And then judgment and sentence of the court on December 2nd. So she wants, of course, another chance at, I guess, a different sentence maybe, or maybe there's something wrong with the sentencing because there wasn't a downward departure, didn't get her new trial, what have you. Now, in support of the aforesaid statement of judicial acts to be reviewed on appeal, the defendant applicant hereby designates the following described proceedings to be transcribed by the circuit court reporter. So, this is the actual what they want transcribed. It would be the hearing on the motion for continuance on September 3rd, 2024, the hearing on the Second Amendment motion to suppress defendant statements at OCSO held on October 2nd, jury selection and trial held from October 14th to October 25th, 2024, sentencing held on December 2nd, 2024. Now, okay. So they want to have the entire hearing on the motion for continuance on September 3rd. I can see that, okay? And the hearing on the Second Amendment motion to suppress the defendant's statements. Sure, that's like a big ask, right? The sentencing, that's rather, it was long-ish, okay, so they're going to have all of that transcribed, I guess. But they're wanting to have the jury selection and the entire trial transcribed. Now, there was a court reporter in there, so I guess maybe it's already done. Will be my guess. But maybe it's just me, right? But I feel like if I was like, you know what, my trial, I need to appeal because there's this thing wrong with it. Oh, when did it happen? During the entire trial and or the jury selection. Seems a little vague. I guess they're just, covering everything. And this was submitted by James Owens himself. And again, I don't think he's on the case anymore. This might be the last thing we see filed by James Owens, so I thought it was definitely worth mentioning because the lawyer listed has officially changed. So, also, with my last video that was longer, and you can probably tell a little bit in this video, maybe if you knew it from the last video, maybe you're seeing it. There's a little issue with my one eye. I don't know how bad it is. I haven't actually looked. But basically, I coughed really bad and it like popped a blood vessel or something, a little hemorrhage, and there's blood on the whites of my eye. I don't know. I don't know how bad it is. But yeah, so that can take weeks weeks to heal. So just putting it out there in case anyone was worried about that. Also, I did get like a bunch of things fixed around here. Heat's still not fixed, but other stuff around this place has been fixed up. And I have some things to take care of the next few days, and then I'm hoping to sit down and be able to dive into some other cases that were interesting to me. I will say that I haven't looked since I first saw it, but Rudy Giuliani, I do not know what is happening in his case where he owes a bunch of money and hasn't paid it yet. But what I can tell you is that there were massive exhibit listings for Christmas Eve. I'm talking, I think it was like 20 different exhibits. So he did not have a Merry Christmas, and I wonder what all that's about. I'm assuming that'll all be public really soon. I might cover that. I might not. We'll see if it's interesting, right? If it's boring, if it's just, oh, he's hiding his assets like a standard person, well, they shouldn't do, but they might do. I don't think that'd be interesting. If he's doing something weird with it, could be entertaining. But yeah, I just wanted to do the Sarah Boone update because people had let me know. They messaged me and told me this was out there. Hey, you missed it. And definitely think it's worth something mentioning it. Like, they're not really being specific, right? They're going for everything. And that's standard, probably standard, but final possible James Owens. Also, the question is now, will we make it to New Year without a Sarah Boone letter? Because I get the feeling if we make it to New Year and her new lawyer hasn't contacted her or isn't keeping in contact, which they don't have to, from my understanding, I expect if she can put out a complaint, she will. But see you in the next video. Have a good holiday.